the brightest queen in history. But just before her death, a whisper began to spread through the royal halls. The queen no longer looks into mirrors. The magnificent Elizabeth, once the most powerful woman in Europe, now hides in the dim chambers of Richmond Palace. The light frightens her. Her once perfect white makeup is cracking, her eyes empty, distant. No one dares to approach, because everyone feels it. The queen carries the cold of death upon her skin. Soft music plays. In the fading light, the silhouette of Elizabeth appears. The rotting queen. The secret death of Elizabeth I. The power and glory of Elizabeth. Once, everything was so different. Elizabeth I was the ruler who led England into its golden age. She defeated Spain at sea, protected art and theater, and gave rise to the age of Shakespeare. The people called her the Virgin Queen. But that title was not just a myth. It was a burden. To protect her crown, she never married, never shared her throne. The throne itself became her lover, and in time, it became her tomb. The first signs of decline. By 1602, the light in Elizabeth's eyes had begun to fade. When her closest friend, the Earl of Essex, was executed, something inside her broke. From that day on, no one ever saw her smile again. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping. She only stood. At night, she would extinguish every candle in her chamber and sit for hours in complete silence. Her servants whispered, "The queen is no longer human. She is a spirit." The decay of beauty. Elizabeth's face had once been legendary, but the white lead makeup she had used for decades was slowly poisoning her skin. Her cheeks began to rot. Her teeth fell out. Each morning, her attendants spent hours covering the sores and painting over the truth. But eventually, even makeup couldn't hide it anymore. A new rumor spread through the court. The queen is rotting. The irony of history. She had poisoned herself to appear eternal, and in the end her beauty was what killed her. Loneliness and silence. In her final weeks, she stopped speaking altogether. She would kneel for hours in a dark corner of the throne room, refusing to be touched. "If I sleep," she said, "I will die." Even her doctors kept their distance. Servants waited at the door, listening for any sound from inside. But all they heard was the faint crackle of candles. The final day one, cold morning, in March 1603. Elizabeth stood for the last time, her face pale, her hands trembling. For a while she said nothing, only stared into the void. Then quietly she sat down and whispered, "Take me away from here." That night Queen Elizabeth I was gone, and in the palace no one cried, because everyone knew she had already been dead for weeks. The legend lives on. When her coffin was carried to Westminster, the crowds were silent. No one saw her face. Her body was wrapped in silk, but everyone knew what lay beneath, a decaying corpse of the once immortal queen. And from that day a legend was born. Queen Elizabeth never truly died. Her spirit still watches over England. The ending. Sometimes power does not make us immortal. It only makes our death quieter. Elizabeth was the goddess of an empire's heart. But in the end she was human, like all of us. And when her time came, her body simply decayed into silence.